Well, Patty,
Yes, sir.
we're like Britney Spears. Oops.
Oops.
Did it again.
I did it again.
And I thought we better take this episode to explain to everyone why
we
did what we did in this episode of Travels with Delaney,
The podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome back. My name's Patrick.
I'm Patty.
And today we are joined on the podcast couch by none other than Mr. Truman.
With his licky lips today. He's licking me.
He is. And Bess is over on a side theater seat.
Right.
Taking a little nap.
Her little spot, isn't it?
So this is a new podcast couch once again for those of you watching us on YouTube. I know. And this podcast couch will probably be in quite a few podcasts over the next few months.
Yeah.
Because we did a thing on Monday.
Correct.
And we're going to talk about that. But before we do, first we have to do another exciting round of this or that.
Oh my gosh, you want me to think after field day?
I'm going to make you think after field day.
School is field day today. Okay.
All right.
All right, come on, brain. Don't let me down.
All right, Patty.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you had to choose between one of the two beverages,
all right,
which one would you choose? A glass of red wine,
okay,
or a gin and tonic?
I'm going to go with neither.
That's not an option. It's this or that.
I would go with, I don't know what I guess.
You're really thirsty. The only two things we have are red wine and gin and tonic.
I guess it'd have to be a gin and tonic because wine gives me a headache. So I'm going to have to suffer through a gin and tonic.
All right. Everybody heard that. She's going to suffer through a gin and tonic. I don't find that suffering. And in fact, I'm staring at a brand new bottle of my favorite gin.
Yeah, how'd you come upon that, honey?
Well, our wonderful neighbors right over here.
Batman and Robin?
Batman and Robin.
A.K.A.
Bill and Robin.
Bill and Robin.
Brought it to me today as a thank you. I mowed their yard last fall after they left for Florida, and then I mowed it a few times this spring till they got back because I didn't want Bill to come back to like a field.
Of work. Yeah.
And I didn't expect anything, but they surprised me with some aviation gin, so we can have that gin and tonic later.
Plus, you're supporting the team.
That's right, because Aviation Gin is owned by Ryan Reynolds, who owns Wrexham. That's right.
With
Rob McElhaney, like a penny. There we go. And now our podcast audience is like, what are they talking about?
What are we talking about? We love Wrexham. All right.
So let's get into it. So if you watched our video on Sunday, I believe that's the 26th of May,
right?
You would have seen that we traveled up to Wisconsin.
Oh, beautiful Wisconsin.
Yes.
Gorgeous.
And the reason we went to Wisconsin was to purchase a brand new RV that we are setting in right now.
Yes.
And I knew the minute the video came out, the trolls would be out in full force.
Well, haters are going to hate.
That's right.
Honey.
Saying,
not to quote Taylor.
And the typical comments, I'm sure, are going to be, and the reason I say are going to be, because obviously the video hasn't come out yet. We're recording this podcast early so that it comes out on Monday.
Sure.
But I'm expecting comments like, that's ridiculous. How can you afford to do it? You're losing your rear end.
You're out of your mind.
You're out of your mind.
Which
you two are boneheads.
Well, sometimes we are.
But we asked in the video, or I did, I said, be curious, not judgmental.
Okay, Ted.
That great line from Ted Lasso. And wait till the podcast comes out so we can at least explain why we decided to make a switch after just 1 year.
Right.
In our Alliance Avenue 22ML.
Ooh, listen to you.
Listen to me.
Yeah.
So when we bought that RV exactly 1 year ago.
Right.
Okay. We bought it Memorial Day weekend, 2023.
In Kentucky.
We did not have any real plan other than we were looking for something larger than our Lance,
right?
Because we wanted, I think we said there were three things we wanted: a dedicated seating space, more cargo capacity,
and you didn't want it
and a
too
quieter
long.
air conditioner.
Yeah, definitely quieter air conditioner.
Right, and then I also had said I didn't really want to go over 30 feet in length
because we've had one that big before.
We had a 35-foot fifth wheel years ago, and so that was really our criteria, and we bought it. And let me just say, We loved it.
Loved it.
It was wonderful for the past year.
Loved it.
But last fall, I hatched a plan.
That's a good word.
Is that a word?
That is.
That Patty and I have talked for quite some time about leaving our jobs in education to pursue new interests.
Yeah, because this isn't something new. We've been talking about this for like the last 2-3 years.
But we didn't really know how to make it happen.
Right. We were trying to get all the pieces together.
And last fall, it hit me that if we would sell our house, we have good equity.
We do.
And we could pay off the truck and the car.
Right.
And in essence, we would be debt-free. But we would not have a home, which means we would need to live in the RV for about 2.5, maybe years, maybe 3, until I can start drawing my retirement. Because I can officially retire from the college, but I can't touch my retirement funds till I'm 59 and a half. And I'm not quite there yet.
Right. Because you could have retired in December.
I could have actually retired this past December.
2023.
And one of the real perks is I get to keep insurance for us, just like I'm an employee.
That's a good perk.
But we didn't know how we would make that happen with a truck payment, a car payment, a mortgage.
Yeah.
And so I came up with this idea. I pitched it to Patty.
Because we've been trying to figure this out
for a couple years.
How to make it work. Because, you know, we've been, as you get older, you learn life's short.
Right.
And we've had a lot of family members, unfortunately, pass at a young age. And we knew we wanted to do something. It's like at a point, especially in teaching, you're kind of burnt out and you just want to change. But it's not like we're not going to do anything.
No,
you just want something different.
Right.
Yeah.
And so we kind of set on that course over the winter, but quickly as we got back into the RV, I think over spring break.
Yep.
It was kind of like, okay, can we live in this? Yes.
We could.
Could we be more comfortable in something a little bit larger?
Yes.
And honestly, it was one of those where I said, I don't know. We've only had this for a year.
Yep.
I don't want to lose our tails on the deal. And so initially, I had found a Keystone Cougar at the local RV dealership.
Right.
I reached out to them, and I had a number in mind that I believed was fair.
Sure.
Okay, because I teach business for a living. I understand how business works and finance works. I understand profit margins very well. And so I knew roughly what our trade should be worth through research. And I know what RV dealers can take off of RVs. Okay, I've been in this industry long enough. And they, unfortunately, were probably about $7,000 off of where I wanted to be.
They weren't close.
And then I reached out to another dealership in Indianapolis on a used Grand Design Solitude.
Right, beautiful.
Yeah, it was beautiful, and we thought, well, maybe we go the used route. We can, get closer to where we want to be. And they offered us significantly less in trade.
That was no bueno.
And he was the one that suggested that Alliance had a new floor plan that might
be more like
because I was explaining what we're trying to accomplish, and he was concerned about the weight of the Solitude with our truck. So anyway, but that wasn't anywhere close to being an option.
Nope.
And so one night I said, well, I'm going to try to find a dealer, like a family-owned dealership. I will not deal with.
We don't want anything mammoth big.
Not from but I mean from a dealership standpoint, we don't deal with two or three of the largest
the big
ones.
Kahunas,
right. I refuse to do it anymore. And so on RV Trader, I found this RV that we're setting in.
Yeah.
At a dealership in Wisconsin. And so I looked it up on their website, and they had, this was like last Thursday night, I think
this
it was.
Went fast,
Or 2 Thursday nights ago.
Two ago. Mm-hmm.
It said, value my trade. And it was like a form you fill out. And they ask you questions like, what RV are you looking to buy? So I put in exactly the one we wanted.
Yep.
And I gave them all the information. And the very next morning, Friday morning, I get a phone call from Wisconsin. I'm like, well, I don't get too many calls from Wisconsin. And I'll be honest, initially I kind of toned out the person
Because you're probably thinking this is going to be
Well,
bad.
I'm thinking that they're going to tell me our RV's not worth anything, that type of thing.
That route,
so it was a very nice voice on the phone. Her name is Shelby.
Shelby.
And Shelby is just as nice in person as she is on the phone.
Yes, she is.
So Shelby says, hey, I got your request last night for a trade evaluation, and I have numbers for you.
Yeah. And
she started going through it, and when she got done, I was like, in my head, I'm thinking, that's exactly the number I said if we could get, we would do. And they gave us a very fair trade value. They, could they have knocked off a little bit more on the sale price? Maybe. But I think they probably gave us a little bit better trade value. But it got us into that number, that magic number I was looking at. Ooh, and so I began to ask questions like, so what about hidden fees?
Yeah.
And she said, well, we just charge $499.50, and that's all the fees. That's it. It's everything. And I said, okay, well, I said, I need to talk to my wife because this was on Friday last week.
I was working.
And she goes, oh, I'll hold it today for you. And I said, but the problem is I won't see my wife till like 9 o'clock tonight because that was the night of graduation.
Yeah.
And she goes, you know what? We're only open till noon tomorrow. I'm going to put a hold on it till noon tomorrow. And I said, okay, I promise I will call you Saturday morning either way. And we talked about it on the way home from graduation and agreed, hey, this is an opportunity.
You don't get these opportunities very often. And we're like, sometimes you just think, okay, it just kind of works out.
Right.
And this felt good.
It felt right.
Yeah.
So I ended up calling her on Saturday morning and said, okay, we want to do this. What do I need to do? And she said, well, I'll send you a credit app because I had told her it's a small amount that we're financing because we owned our other trailer. But we're going to finance it short term, and we'll probably have it paid off by next spring. And she said, no problem. And she said if I could get a deposit, and she said somebody will call you to get your deposit. And I think it was like $500.
Right. Not 5,000.
No, not 5,000, just 500. And I remember like on Monday, nobody had called me, so I messaged her and I'm like, hey, I didn't get, I still want to buy this. And she messaged me. She said, I'm so sorry. We have been so swamped at the dealership. So she ended up taking a credit card. And then for some reason, Apple Card doesn't like to be entered manually sometimes.
It's very quirky.
It's quirky. So it got declined, not because we don't have money, but because they said the wrong information was entered.
Right.
So I said, hey, I can, I can just give you another card. And she said, we talked here. We're good. And I'm like, well, that's odd.
Yeah, they're not used to that.
No. And she said, we already have the sold sign on it, and they're going to start prepping it, and we set a date and a time.
Right.
And I'll tell you, it was kind of hairy getting up there because between my new work schedule here at Happy Acres Campground in Angola, Indiana, and you still being in school
schedule.
So it was a very quick trip to Wisconsin. I don't think we weren't even gone a full 36 hours.
No, I felt like we were like, what is that show, Cannonball Run or something?
Yeah, like or Smoking the Bandit.
Like eastbound, down, rolling up and trucking.
Yeah, I mean it was.
Yeah.
So
it was quick.
Yeah, and
it had to be quick.
And if you saw our video, I don't want to spend lots of time talking about how great this dealership is.
They're awesome. AWESOME. Awesome.
They are. Shelby, amazing salesperson because she was straightforward, honest.
No games.
No games. Just and no high pressure. No pressure at all. Like, and if it works, great. If it doesn't.
Yeah, no big deal.
And then Brent in finance, because that's usually where these deals fall apart.
That's kind of where you get kind of poked by the bear.
Yeah, and we go in there, and he's just the nicest gentleman.
Very nice.
And he's like, hey, I got you this interest rate, but just so you know, I checked with your credit union, and I was able to use that as leverage to get a lower rate at the bank, and so it's a little higher than your credit union. I'm like, are you kidding?
Yeah, this isn't crazy.
And then I started asking him about, the other thing is I had asked Shelby, like, I suppose I have to finance with you, because a lot of dealerships, like, if you don't, they charge you extra.
Yep.
And she's like, no, if you want to finance it. And I said,
well, it costs. You want to do it.
Yeah, like you want to pay cash, we don't care. We're not going to charge you for that. So there was that. And then I said to Brent, I'm like, okay, how many payments do I have to make before I pay it off so you don't get penalized? And he's like, well, we don't talk about that. because I got the sense maybe in Wisconsin they're not allowed to do like Blue Compass did to us, where they're like, we really need you to make 12 payments so we don't lose our kickback.
Yeah.
And Brent's like, if you want to pay it off tomorrow, that's your option.
Do what you want to do. Yeah.
And because the dealership was so great, I actually said, just tell me. How many?
Would you like it? Yeah.
And he said, well, technically, if you make 6 payments, then we would get to keep our incentive.
We're like, done.
And yeah, because I'm going to do that for them. And then, the whole warranty thing came up, and I joked with him about it, and he says, here's what we have. He didn't even go through it. He just kind of laid it in front of me. He said, you can just sign on the side to decline.
I love that.
And no pressure whatsoever. He was awesome.
Very.
And then and I should mention, even the lady, and I did not get her name at the receptionist desk.
She was very sweet.
She was awesome, like helping us.
She kept checking
on us.
Because I had the pups, trying to keep them. And she's like, are they okay? Do they need water? I'm like, no, they got water. I'm going to the truck. Or everything all right? Or, she just, every time, because I was in and out with these dudes.
Right.
Keeping them occupied.
And if Shelby and Brent weren't enough.
Yeah. Then
Corey was like the cherry on top of the sundae.
Amazing guy.
So Corey is out in the service department.
Yes.
And he wanted to so bad give us the complete orientation.
He did.
And I ruined it for him because I'm like, Corey, it's basically the same trailer except 6 feet longer and it has another slide.
And you wanted to know about basically the
2 things.
Yep.
The fireplace and the tankless water heater.
Mm-hmm.
And he did a great job of demonstrating both of those. But here's where it got really good. Number one, he was showing me they go through this massive inspection.
We could watch them do it on the other rigs while we
they were like
ours.
They do water tests. Like they just run a hose for a long time on your slide outs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They he found a small water leak in our shower where the shower curtain butts up against the wall. So because there was a little bit coming through, they just went ahead and recaulked it.
Yeah.
Just little things.
Crazy.
And then he moved our big mattress over.
That was amazing because I figured when we were ready to move our stuff in, because we'd crated up stuff, we'd emptied out the trailer pretty good. I'm like, okay, I got to keep my energy up because we got to move that thing over. And they moved it.
Right.
That was awesome.
And I had told him, like, if you can just bring the 3 batteries over, if you just hook up one to get me home. He's like, nope, we'll hook them up. And so what he did was, because they're lithium, he removed the battery box. It's like a plastic thing that insert. Put in a new piece of, like, sheet metal to cover it up.
Goodness.
Put in reinforcements underneath to support the weight of the batteries, and then used angle iron to build like a little box to hold them in. It looks amazing.
It looks like it should have came that way. It was awesome.
And he's like, well, I had to relocate this one switch a little higher, but I think it looks good.
I think we were both in awe. Like,
he saved Myron some real time.
Lot of time.
And I said to Shelby, what do I owe for everything Corey has done today? And she goes, nothing. Like, it's included.
He loves it.
And
he did. That guy was just so helpful.
And before we got to leave,
he helped us with the truck and the hitch.
Yeah, he readjusted our hitch, and somebody came out from the office like, hey, don't leave. We got a recall on your RV.
You can't leave.
And he said, we're going to try to fix this for you so you don't have to deal with it when you get to Indiana. And they were able to because they had the part in stock. It was a bad circuit or something.
Yeah, because he's like, I don't like the way this hitch is coming in. We got to fix that. And that was
I'm telling you what.
It was unbelievable. Almost like concierge service.
Honestly, you know what? It was that perfect date that I want to marry that dealership. Like, seriously, other than Princess Craft.
Right.
And PJ and Lindsay and Clint and the whole team, they do an amazing job. Yep. They don't sell fifth wheels, okay? And they know how we feel about them. And you guys who have known us for any length of time know we've always said it's a great dealership that PJ runs.
Sure.
But if you don't want to go to Texas or you want something bigger, I'm telling you, King's Camper in Wausau, Wisconsin.
They are just so meticulous about every little detail.
Straightforward, honest,
no
games.
Just very easygoing. There's no tension when you walk in there.
And it's not a fancy dealership.
No, doesn't need to be.
Doesn't need to be. And they carry everything from like they're an Alliance dealer, they're a Winnebago dealer, Forest River.
They had some Tiffins.
Tiffins.
I'm like, ooh, honey, a Tiffin.
Yeah. So I guess we should get back though to why we did this, and maybe we've answered that buying this RV is part of a bigger plan.
Right.
And it's just one more piece to that
puzzle. For us, going into semi-retirement from teaching.
Right.
So we figured if we could live in this, we'll be comfortable, and that way then, we'll be in this for a while and then not have to worry about anything else.
Yeah. And for people who are still saying, you know what, you probably lost your butt, I'll just be honest. We spent $16,000 with sales tax. Okay, if you want to say we lost our butt, fine. But first of all, it's our money, and we're going to live our life the way we want to live it.
Right.
And you should live your life the way you want to live yours.
And everybody's different, and you do what works for you. And over the years, things have changed, and this is just a new kind of. I always think of it like a new branch in our adventure.
Right.
It's time to branch off and try something a little different.
Exactly. And as Patty said earlier, life is short. I lost my sister when she was 46 years old, and I lost my mom at 64.
It makes you think. And then when you have friends like today at field day tell you that they were told they have 5 years left to live, you're like, what?
Exactly.
And it makes you really think clearly what's important to you. And we're willing to do that sacrifice if we have to do a sacrifice.
Right.
But I don't think we're going to have to.
I'm working. I'm going to work hard here at the campground this summer to pay for this RV. And
we got the eBay business going.
Yep.
We're still doing YouTube. We're hustling. We are hustling so that we can have a change.
Yep.
And like with me too, I figured out all of my stuff for my retirement because I had meetings this past fall, and same thing goes for me. I can keep I'll get my full benefits if I wait till I'm 59 to tap into it. So, and insurance with him is going to be great. It's better than mine. I can slide over onto his. It's things are coming into place, I feel.
Yeah. So this is just a piece of the puzzle. And we wanted to explain that because, I know a lot of people that are just like, oh, you've only had it for 1 year.
Yeah,
I know that. Hindsight is always 20/20.
Yeah.
If last April or May
if I had been in this position last year,
if we would have known that, we would have bought the bigger one.
Probably, absolutely.
But I hadn't come up with that, and sometimes that happens in life. You start down one road, and then you have to take a detour.
Yep.
And so we're very happy already with this RV.
It's just beautiful. We love it.
Yeah. And, we chose Alliance. I have to tell you, I'm not sure. This could be a whole separate podcast. I'm not sure 3-4 months ago we would have said, I think we were saying like, oh, we'd look at an Alliance. But after we started looking at other brands,
I just like the look.
I don't know what it is. We were like, okay, maybe we really do like Alliance. And I will tell you, after what is today? Today we're recording on Thursday, so we've had it like really 3 days.
3 days.
I can tell you already, I am super in love with this one.
Yep.
This one is so much better constructed than our first one.
Oh, the quality inside, the craftsmanship. It is a lot better. After you look at what we had, not that it was bad.
It just had a lot of fit and finish issues.
Yeah, the fit and finish is just, I haven't found anything weird on fit and finish like we found before. And they were easy, like adjustments in the other one, but we haven't had to do really any adjustments, knock on wood. And it's just right now, it's just awesome.
So Alliance, you did good. You redeemed yourself. We're glad to be part of the Ally family, whatever they call it.
I just think the setup is great. Yeah. I think it's going to be great.
And yes, we paid full price. We did not get any discounts. So we're not sponsored by Alliance or by King's Campers.
Well, we got lucky. We got to keep the lithium batteries. We got to keep our mattress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, didn't mean to get a little ranty there, but when you get beat up in comments on YouTube, and I feel like I've been beat up the last 3 videos.
It kind of you get enough.
Yeah, and the thing is, there's some of you who you're always supportive, and we want to share the information with you. Unfortunately, we also attract the people who are very negative in life, and never. I don't understand taking energy to go write nasty comments. Like, I've got better things to do in my life.
And again, we always use the analogy, like if I'm watching a TV program and I don't like it, I change the channel.
Yeah.
I don't like go on there and make a comment to NBC or ABC or CBS or whoever and tell them how I didn't like the show or whatever.
Well, that was just ridiculous that you went and got new furniture for that show. Those people were just fine. Friends were just fine in their apartment with their current furniture.
They were just fine.
Yeah, so anyway. Well, I think we probably should. I think we've answered the question, hopefully. And if you want to see the new rig, we will have a tour video coming out. on, I believe, the following this coming Sunday. At least that's the plan. We'll get you a complete tour. You can see the whole RV if you want to.
Yep.
And we'd love to show you around.
Sure.
And, yeah.
It's just pretty.
And
it's beautiful.
Thank you to all of you for taking time today to listen. If you came over from Travels with Delaney to hear our response, thank you. We appreciate that. We'd love to have you join us every Monday for our weekly podcast.
And, honey, I'm going to do it this time. Don't forget we got to thank our friend and producer Jim Kuzman.
Mr. Jim, that's right. Jim is the one who every week goes in and does his magic on the audio to make our audio podcast sound. I think it is one of the best audio podcasts in the business, and that's not because of anything we do. It's because of Jim.
He's just very meticulous.
He's a professional, and he's very meticulous. And Jim, thank you. We love you, Jim. Yeah, we do. So, all right, everyone. Until next time, we'll see you
on down the road.
Bye.
Travels with Delaney. We'll see you on down the road.